Cheers, queers! What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today, we are going to talk about one of our favorite shows ever, which is Us, the series. Woo!
Woo! It is so good.
We cannot state that enough, truly. It is so good. And we think you also feel it because we got a lot of listener comments about why you also love Us, the series, which we will get into. So thank you to everybody who participated and watched this series because it's so good.
So good.
Okay, just as a warning, this will not be a scene-by-scene breakdown, unfortunately. This will just be an overview of why we love the show, our favorite moments, characters, and then why you at home, those of us that participated, also enjoyed this series. If you want us to make this a scene-by-scene breakdown and you want us to essentially turn into a GMMTV podcast, just let us know and we'll consider it. After Pluto, which we'll be getting into next, and I think you're getting next week.
GMMTV, if you happen to be listening or watching this, please partner with us. We would love to be your US-based representatives for your content. You're killing it. Also, we want to come visit your productions because you're masterminds. Let's go.
Also, do you want us to sell noodles? Because we can do that too. Just let us know.
Yeah, we can sell noodles too.
We can sell noodles. We got this.
Again, you don't have to pay us. We'll do it.
You don't have to pay us. You can just pay us in noodles, and that's valid. That'd be so funny if like part of their contracts are like you get some noodle stock. Anyway, that's not important right now. That's a question for GMMTV if you're listening. Okay, for those of you at home, hello and welcome. If you want more Us the Series content, we reacted to the entirety of the show. Like, it was our first reactions. There are a few episodes on YouTube in highlight format. If you want to watch us react to every single second, become a Patreon member. It's all on there, so you can have fun over there.
It's a great time.
It's a great time.
It's all there. It's full length. No boxes on top either. I know those are so annoying for you. They're annoying for us too. But it's a great time. A good community over there too. Also, speaking of community, come join our Discord, and there is a lot of people talking about us in there. I mean, us and the show Us. That's the only time I'm going to make that joke. I promise.
No, that joke will come up over and over again. And there's like a lot of Emibonnie chatter and just about everything. So just come over there and make some friends. It's good. It's a good old time over there. All right.
Yeah, I think, are we ready to get into this discussion?
I'm so ready. Let's get into any excuse to talk about this show. Let's do it.
Just so the audience is aware, Theora and I, before we even started recording, tried to start doing the discussion and we had to keep cutting ourselves off. So we're very ready for this.
We're very ready for this.
And I think the most logical place to start is the start of the show. Yeah, and just talk about how ridiculous and amazing it was that Dokrak tried to ruin her teeth just to talk to Pam.
Oh my god. She's so fucking funny. The cake.
And then when we see them together for the first time, she's like, yeah, but you'll yell at me. Like, she wants
I like when you yell at me.
First of all, the adorableness. She is a puppy. She's like, I just want to be with you.
She's so cute. I can't even with her. And like, Bonnie and her fucking puppy dog face. Like, they cast the perfect actor. They're like, to play a puppy dog. Like, she's basically a puppy dog. It's perfect. And GMMTV's like, son who? Here's puppy dog noises for Dokrak. So they did up the animal sounds and gave her puppy dog, like, little whiny noises. It's not barking, but like, you'd hear her whining like a puppy. They knew what they were doing.
Because we have dogs, both of us have dogs while filming. You never know if it's the show or one of our dogs. I think in one of the reactions I bring up, like, was that a dog? And then Theora got distracted because there's also a bird in there. So there's always birds.
Listen, there is a specific shot. This is really random, but I noticed it on the rewatch. There's a specific like exterior shot, I think, of Dokrak's apartment or the grandmother's room, and they use the same shot, and there's a pigeon in this in the shot. That's the only reason I know they use the same transition, because there's a pigeon, and I'm like, he's doing the same thing. You would not notice if you're not looking for it.
Was it that shot where the bird like flies off the building?
No, it's a different shot. It's a shot of the apartment. There's just a pigeon just like camouflaged into some like part of the. It's not important, but I was just like, oh, they used the same exterior because I remember the bird.
Well, yeah, because why pay to shoot this building more than once?
No, totally. But the bird gives it away. Like, I understand the practicality, but I'm like, that's the same shot because the bird's doing the same thing. Anyway, that's not important right now.
It. The bird also needs to be in the credits. That bird worked hard. But did you notice the puppy noises on the first watch?
No, it's hard to notice anything on the first watch because we were reacting to it. And when we're reacting, we're talking. So I missed 90% of what's going on. So I needed it to be really quiet to like hear that. Because they're not like, remember in 23.5 when like Sun had her angry cat noises? Like they were like, the gains were up on the sound. So you like definitely heard it. But like, it's really subtle the way they did like the whiny puppy sounds. So like, if also when we react, like the volume's low when we're reacting so that you could hear our voices in the recording. So I couldn't hear it. But so then when I was just listening to it, I was like, oh, they do have puppy noises, which was confirmation that GMMTV was setting her up to be a puppy. Like they knew what they were doing when they were like casting this human being. Like,
Bonnie came into the audition. They were like, all right, we already have a cat. We got a dog.
Perfect. Now we need Sun and Dokrak to interact.
I just wanted to clarify that because we need to give Sarah H a shout out because Sarah literally told us about these puppy dog noises 2 months ago.
Oh, and
I
missed
just
it. Sorry.
went over. Yeah, we apologize, Sarah. Thank you for telling us. We see you. We appreciate you telling us, even though we did not get that message in time.
No, I missed it. Oh, I also just can't hear it when we're reacting.
Yes. But anyway, Dokrak is a lesbian who knows what she wants and gets what she wants. Well, you know what? Doesn't technically get what she wants because of this, not random, but this triangle that was sold to us as the show, but really only lasted a few episodes, which I'm glad about.
I will say, okay, so I'll say that this was obviously based on a novel. This is part of the Chow Planoy universe. This was Chow Planoy's first novel. And I read it a while ago. And I liked the novel. Like, that was a good novel. And the novel, the central plot involves this love triangle. So if you go back and watch, like, their teaser trailers, it's the novel. It's very much centered around this love triangle with Kawi, Dokrak, and Pam. And that's, like, a huge plot point the entire time. So GMMTV was like, okay, and then basically made a fan fiction, which is the show, which is like, it's like, you remember like, you know, like alternate universe fan fictions? Like this is the ultimate the novel AU, where they're like, let's keep the characters and change everything, even some of the character traits, and we'll change everything. So I will say up front, like I did read the novel, but it's really not worth comparing the novel to the series because they are so different. It's not even worth it. So I will interject some novel things, but it's really not even worth comparing because it's so different. And like this love triangle thing, them being like, let's phase that out and make Kawi a good brother instead of the villain. He's the villain of the novel. So like, it's totally different. So I'm glad they like kind of phased it out because they made it about more than just a love triangle and this like complicated love between Pam and Dokrak. It became more about so many other things that made it such a good show.
It really did. And in the reactions, Theora did tell me some of the things that was changed from the book, you know, everything. And from what I hear, the changes really benefited the show, and I love what they have done. But I do love this triangle, not only because it lasts for only like a couple episodes, and then, you know, Kawi comes to his senses, but the main reason is that we get to really see Dokrak's love of drawing and how good she is. And also the fact that Bonnie drew all these herself.
Yeah.
Is insane.
That's insane.
Like, great job. I'm always jealous of people who can draw because I'm just I'm terrible at it. But because we get to see her draw so much, I realized randomly, Dokrak and Pam are both artists.
Mm-hmm.
In the way that Yeah, they are both artists, if you really think about it.
Okay, let's think about
it. And that is something that they can bond over. Not that they actually bond over it, because you don't really think of Pam as an artist. But Pam is a dentist. What do dentists do? They drill cavities and fillings. And they have to sculpt that teeth back to the way it was and make it look natural. So, oh gosh, sorry. The names just went crossed in my head. Dokrak is a 2D artist, while Pam is a sculptor. Which means that their love of art connects them.
You could also say that, like, as the dentist, she brushes teeth too. Like, that's her canvas. Yeah,
actually, you know what? That's true too.
It's her canvas.
Yep, and boy, does she does that art every single episode. But yes,
well, they need to teach. Who's the guy that owns the coffee shop? Ake. They need to teach him about art, because he wants to be an artist so badly.
Honestly, his stuff isn't bad.
I know. I agree.
I don't know why no one's. Well, I mean, he tries to sell it too hard in the cafe. I don't think
he needs to go to an art fair or whatever.
That cafe really should be, and we'll get into the cafe people, but that should be a display. And if people want to buy it, they can. But he should not be hounding people as soon as they walk into the cafe. That is why they have no customers.
Correct. You are 100% correct.
And Pam just deals with it because Ek, I feel like it's just Ek, but I know anyway, Ek makes sense. Anyway, he was just distracted by Pam's beauty too, so Pam wasn't hounded as much to buy the paintings.
Correct. That is 100% correct.
Okay, but yes, they're both artists. That was my random epiphany, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. Also, side note for this love triangle, I think Kawi never really liked Pam. It was just because he thought she was pretty, and he needed a distraction from his life.
Totally.
Of playing a role and trying to make sure everything is okay, which we'll get into. But I mean, there's no way those two were just there because they couldn't have what they really wanted.
Well, okay, yeah. So what I like about the way the series handled the love triangle is they gave, to your point, they gave Kawi and Pam specifically other motivations for, like, dating each other versus just, like, the Avril Lavigne one. She was a boy, he was a girl, that kind of thing. Let's get together. Like, they had motivations because, like you said with Kawi's like, oh, pretty girl. And I'm, look, he's genuinely, I think he wants love and stuff, but also, like you said, he's in this, like, he's battling depression right now. And so he's like, oh, happiness, somebody that takes my mind off of the pit of despair in my mind. I want that. So, like, valid, that's, he was going through some stuff. Then Pam, on the other hand, was instructed by mob boss, just FYI, Nene, we're going to call her mob boss because that's what we nicknamed her because we love her so much.
From the very first episode.
For the first episode, just because of the way she keeps entering scenes and, like, has minions and shit. She's, like, a mob boss, so we were just going to call her mob boss. So mob boss basically instructed Pam to go after the siblings. And so, like, you can see in one of the episodes, like, when in the episode where, like, Pam asks out Kawi, basically you could tell in that episode that, like, she didn't want to because she was realizing she's into the sister, but, like, the mob boss is like, girl, we made a deal. So then she does it to further this plot line with taking down the family. Versus, like, picking Kawi and just making Dokrak sad. You know what I mean? Like, there was, like, and you could see Pam battling with it, where she's like, I really don't want to because I'm actually into the sister, but, like, has to, like. So I like that they added that layer of complexity to the love triangle because everybody's motivations are a little bit different. So then when we untangle it, it's more of an interesting story because then they have to then untangle it. And, like, there's, as the viewer, you're like, okay, when it untangles, like, are we going to have the, I can't forgive you for this, you betrayed me, you're my sister, or, like, we going to, like, talk it out, which is what they end up doing. They're like, why don't they just talk it out? And, like, really, like you said, like, Kawi was never that invested in Pam, which is completely different from the novel. It's a totally different story there. And then Pam was not that invested in Kawi. She was there for the mission. And then that leaves the puppy dog who's invested in everybody and is out of the loop. And so, like, it's it made a much more interesting drama in my mind because you have all these characters with different like mindsets, and because they're so interwoven, like they easily could just like hurt each other, and they kind of like the way they navigated it was really smart and emotionally intelligent. I really enjoyed watching that unfold personally.
It really was a great watch because it wasn't like they were making anybody jealous. I mean, technically Dokrak was jealous, but
there was jealousy because like jealousy is a human emotion, but like it wasn't driving the plot ever. It just like there were jealous moments, but it wasn't the plot was jealousy. You know what I mean?
No, it was normal interactions.
Yeah, like it's a human jealousy is a human emotion. Like people feel jealous, that's fine, but like it wasn't in many plot.
Different aspects, not just relationships too.
Yeah. Envy, that's it's one of the sins or whatever. Like it's part of being human, but it was never the plot point, and I really appreciated that because a lot of dramas that are relationship based will lean into jealousy as a plot point, and they never did that here. It was more so all the characters' motivations like that were causing the drama, and just the dad being awful. It was like the drama.
While watching the show, I think my brain is a lot like Pam's in the fact that we forget that she's supposed to be a double agent.
Yeah.
And like trying to take down this family because she's so invested. So like I know that that's the storyline, but I always forget that that's the storyline because I'm just so focused on Dokrak and Pam.
I think Pam forgets too, and that's part of the thing, and that's really human because she gets sucked into like this actual relationship she's forming, and that's why mob boss is like, "What are you doing?" And Pam's like, "Oh yeah, that's right, I'm a double agent."
But doesn't seem like she wants to be. She doesn't want to be very quickly. She's like, "Oh shit. No, these other people are innocent." But before we get into more of the show and the plot, I want to go to something that we have also talked about every episode in our reactions. I don't think YouTube has ever seen this, but the artist who starts off the opening
Where was
credits.
That bitch?
Okay, I have a photo for you in our notes. Okay, well, in our notes, everybody, I'll set the scene. It's the point where Kawi is staring at Pam, and Pam is staring at this artist, and it's that scene that is in the opening credits.
Okay, however, so we don't get the over-the-shoulder shot.
We don't get the actual over-shoulder shot.
Got it.
I think they filmed that as like possible cut, but then they decided not to be too close because that would be more personal in Pam, where they wanted him to seem still very much removed from Pam, which is why he needed Dokrak to get help him get to Pam. So I think that was smart, them not using that close-up shot, or they just wanted that close-up because it does make sense for the show in general with the artist. It's showing Pam's interest in art at this moment. So that is, I just wanted to make sure that I showed Theora where this scene did come from. It is relevant. We just don't see the shot in the show.
Yeah, I knew there was the art fair, but I was like, I never see this shot. Where did it come? So it threw me off every single time they would go to the opening credits because I'm like waiting for that shot to show up, and it never did.
But I noticed in one of the shots you do see like the same brush strokes that you see in the opening shot.
That's interesting. Good catch.
Yeah. The random things, my brain's like, yes, let's remember that little random thing.
No, it's relevant. Because it was the Where's Waldo of this series. I'm just waiting for this fucking scene and it never showed up.
That's the only thing we could focus on in that opening because there was no singing.
Okay, yeah, our one gripe with the show is that you have the greatest OST of all time. And then you use the like acoustic version in the opening credits and not the version with Emi singing like a fucking angel. Why would you do that?
So good. Oh my god. That's why Patreon listens to the ending credits too, because it's the only time we get the actual singing.
The full song. Not the full song, but yeah, the song. I know, it's such a good song. I will get into the OST and
Just another quick thing about the opening is like they show us shots of Dokrak singing and music notes. Like, you're teasing us.
I know. They both can sing, and here we are with the acoustic version. I was like, God damn it. Anyway, I'm not that the acoustic version's not beautiful. Shout out to whoever did the actual music.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. I want the singing version.
The singing is great.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It is my favorite song. But we can talk more about that in that section.
We definitely will. Who knows how long this episode's going to be? There's so many fun
it's going to be long. This is, it may not be scene by scene, but this is going to be a long episode.
Yeah, maybe it'll be 2 episodes. Who knows? Hold on. Okay. One thing I do want to point out from the first scene, where you mentioned, like, the Dokrak, going to Pam's office. So, okay. One thing, so in Dokrak's voiceover, she's like, oh man, like Pam cries when she sees her. And she's like, oh my God, that's when like the pitter patter started for Dokrak. And then the first, like GMMTV are beautiful screenwriters because they do this thing where they like give you a little bit of information and then like give you more information so that when you rewatch a series, you're like, God damn it. Like you put all the pieces together. So why was Pam crying? Pam was crying because she was reading the patient information for who she's seeing next, and it was Dokrak's name, and she knew her name from Nene. So when she saw her, that's when the mission started, so that's why she was crying, because she knew who Dokrak was, and Dokrak had no fucking idea, and then Pam's like, oh, okay, I gotta take down this person, and then, like, the puppy dog walks in, and so, like, poor Pam was, like, fucked from the start of this whole thing.
Yeah, and I know I believe a Patreon member pointed that one out too. I don't remember exactly who it was. I apologize, but I really appreciate all of you just like telling us things in the comments because it's very helpful. But yeah, that is so sad knowing,
really sad.
Especially I can't remember, is that her first time ever seeing her?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's her first time meeting Dokrak.
And then that's just so sad because this puppy dog literally bouncing into the office. How?
Literally.
How do you kick that puppy?
I know.
She was doomed from the minute that mission started.
Poor Pam was doomed. All right, so speaking of Dokrak, so besides being a puppy dog, one of my favorite qualities she has was the fact that she was the bravest person in her family. Like, she was the dad is the villain, full stop.
Yes.
And Dokrak, as a child, understood this when she figured out that he was, like, fucking her homeroom teacher, which is so gross. Like, this man is shameless and awful.
Does not care about any of the repercussions. Or,
no.
Like,
well, this is the classic. This is the classic, I'm a person in power, I am above the law, see America right now. And so therefore he can do whatever he wants and never take responsibility for it. Because if anything goes wrong, it's other people's fault, not mine. Yeah. And that's he does not change at all. And that's fine. People are like this. Like, he's like, literally, like, see the United States of America right now. Like, he's a narcissist. Like, he's basically our president. Like, he's a narcissist, does not take responsibility, like, blames everybody else, thinks he's greater than everybody else because of his last name, and, like, literally nobody cares about any of that except you.
The damn last name thing.
Yeah. So he's like, basically that means, like, you want the privilege that comes with, like, being tethered to me. And everybody's like, I just want a dad. And, like, you can't even give me that, but whatever. So I love that Dokrak is the one in the family that stands up to him first and consistently. And, we kind of get a flashback with Dokrak when she was in high school, I think. And when she kind of first stood up to him after finding out about him cheating on her mom. And then what does the dad do? Like, even as a kid, he was blaming Dokrak's mom. He's like, wow, you spoiled this girl. Look at her talking back to me and blah, blah, blah. And he's just, like, super controlling. And he's like, you're going to go study medicine because it benefits the hospital, not, like, because it's what you want to do or what's best for you. It's what's best for him, not her. And it's really sad that, like, in the flashback, you see that Dokrak, as a kid, was kind of felt isolated because her mother was deferring to the dad to make all these decisions. And in the scene where Dokrak's standing up to him, mom's like, don't argue with adults. That's not polite. But I love that, like, Dokrak does not back down, like, even for a second. Like, she sticks up for herself when nobody else does. And the saddest part of this whole flashback scene is when there's a scene where she like looks to her mom, like hopeful that her mom's gonna stand up for her, but her mom doesn't. And then like the way her face falls, it's like she realizes that she is alone in this house. And this becomes this like lesson she learns and brings up throughout the show where she's like, a house is not just because I'm in this house with these people doesn't mean this is the criteria for what family means. Like families support each other. Like this doesn't feel like a family to me. And like, I think that stuck with her more than anything going forward, basically.
And it's crazy that she's the one who learns this so quickly, considering she's the youngest in this family. And
yeah,
like learning that found family is better than like blood doesn't make family, especially when you're raised where blood is everything. Your last name is everything, according to her father. It's very admirable that she could recognize what she needed, especially like again with not having anybody else see what she needs.
Yeah.
So somehow she was able to get this maturity and self-reflection to know what she wants and how to get that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Also, we'll get into the mom later.
Yes.
But at this point, she was a shell of a person, just
yeah. I mean,
like,
well,
going
the irony
through the motions.
The irony, like what classic GMMTV fashion. It's like mom already knew the dad was awful at this point, but like she was playing the role of, traditional wife, we'll put it that way, like air quotes. Well, like she married into a family that was more powerful than hers, that had more money than hers. And so her role is to, play the part of support the husband while he carries the family, quote unquote. And so that's why she says later, she's like, I've deferred to you for years because that was my role. Right. And then we find out that like, anyway, well, yeah, like we said, we'll get into her later, but like that's what she's doing in the scene. She's like, Dokrak, you're supposed to be polite. I'm supposed to she's trying to be like traditional with Dokrak, despite this situation that is very like toxic for everybody in the house. But like if you go back in time in traditional households, like toxicity didn't matter. This was the way that it was, that like men in charge of the family could do whatever they want. They could gamble away everybody's money and there's literally nothing anybody else could do. Like that was just the way that it was. And so mom is kind of like in that role with him, but then stands up for everybody else later. But like you see it in the flashback, the way like the household feels very traditional. And that doesn't necessarily mean healthy. That doesn't necessarily mean family, it's more complex than just that label,
Yeah, it's also important to point out that in this scene, the father literally tells Dokrak to get out, and he conveniently forgets that later.
Oh my god. The way he keeps having that argument with her. My favorite one is like she's leaving and he's like, okay, leave my house. And it's like, she is leaving. Shut up. Like, that was so funny. I was like, sir.
It has to be on his terms. Again, the narcissism.
He's a narcissist. It has to be on his terms. He has to have the last word. That's why Dokrak frustrates him, because she's like, no.
And especially because she's doing well on her own too. So if he even notices that she's doing well, unless his brain's just like, oh, she can't be doing well.
Right.
But no, she's killing it without you, and that makes you even more angry.
Yep.
But
all right. So another thing I love about the show. So, okay, in my personal opinion, this television show for me meets the criteria of a perfect TV show. In the way that Heartstopper is a perfect TV show, in the way that The Good Place is a perfect television show. I have my own personal criteria. You can disagree with me. That's totally fine. It meets my criteria because one thing I love about The Good Place, and this is a really non-spoiler kind of thing, this was a show. The showrunner is named Michael Schur. If you don't know who he is a great showrunner for like comedy sitcom bangers. Like I think he was the showrunner for like The Office, Parks and Rec. Like he does a lot of those kind of like big ensemble comedy kinds of shows. And in The Good Place, he did this thing in the writer's room where he basically had like a whiteboard. And he's like, okay, for every single episode of the show, you have to meet these 3 criteria for every episode. Criteria number 1 is that the characters have to grow in every episode. Criteria number 2 is that you have to make a point about philosophy, because that was the point of the show. He's like basically saying you have to stick to this theme for every single episode that's going to be the big theme of the show. And number 3, it has to be funny. Every single episode had to meet those 3 things. And every single episode does, which makes it a very cohesive show where your characters are constantly growing. It sticks to the theme, which is philosophy, and it is funny. And to me, Us met all of those criteria. Like, the characters, all of them except the dad, which is fine because he's this unchanging traditional character, right? Makes sense for him. All the characters grow in every single episode. They stick to their themes, and their themes have to do more so with like grief and like letting things go and like moving forward despite setbacks and how to say goodbye to people. And like they stuck to that in every single episode, every single one of them. And 3, it is funny, but also it's gay. Every episode's gay. So I think they met the 3 criteria for every episode.
The last criteria, is it gay? It has to be gay.
It's gay. So to me, this is a perfect TV show. And one of the themes in the show that I love, because it's a really challenging theme to talk about, and they handled it so beautifully, is letting go of the past to move forward into your future. And it starts very early. So in episode 2, Dokrak has this conversation with Pam, where Pam is trying to get Dokrak to open up about the family issues because Pam's the double agent at the time. And instead of dwelling on the past and getting into her backstory, Dokrak just says, we have our good days and bad days. That's life. Which is such an emotionally mature answer for that. Like, wow, you know, and now that we know like her backstory and stuff, like, wow, like she's really emotionally mature, and like, what a profound way to think about that. In the same episode, later that evening, when Pam's gone, Dokrak's alone in her room, and she starts thinking about that flashback, the bad day where her father kicked her out of the house, and she starts crying. But then instead of dwelling in the grief and becoming angry about it, she just reminds herself, it's just a bad day. Like, she tells herself this, meaning like this will pass and you will move forward. Like, it's just one bad day. You're going to have good days. Just be happy despite the setback. And I think this is important, especially from Dokrak, because literally everyone else in the show struggles with this lesson that Dokrak mastered when she was young. And she is like the guiding light for so many characters, including Pam, on their journey to like let go of the past and heal and be happy despite when bad things are happening.
It's such a great mindset. Like,
yes.
First of all, just to be able to be like, oh, there's gonna be, it's that mindset of like, this too shall pass. There will be good times again. It's really hard to be in that mindset, especially when you have so much not in your control. Like, I know even like in life, I struggle with that too. It's the strength that it takes to be able to be like, it's just a bad day, and not live and let it drown you. Because you see Kawi, I'm sure that he has the exact opposite mindset of where if something's good happening, he's like, okay, but the ball's going to drop, because that's what he's used to. He's been seeing it his whole life, and Dokrak got out. Kawi wasn't at that point where he thought he could. He needed to be there to be the perfect son and make sure that the family's good. But I just, having Dokrak be kind of like the mentor to all the characters, and you do see, it's not like one episode, oh, we're going to teach this character. It's just throughout the show, she guides each character, whether they even know it or not. Because you just pick a character, except the dad. The dad, you know, again, he doesn't need the redemption.
No.
Some people don't change. And that's what this show proves too. Something that's also amazing is that not everybody will change.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will, because they actually care about other humans and see what's going on around them. And for some, it takes longer than others. And we do see that in the show. So like you said, the journey of the show and the growth of each character, and not having it be linear either with the amount of time it takes, because some characters, it's a lot quicker. I mean, another character who also has a similar mindset to Dokrak, and feel free to move it to stop me if you don't want to get into this yet, but Grandma's very similar to Dokrak.
Yeah, that was my next point. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
It's very cute to see when Dokrak meets Grandma. They bond immediately. Our first thought was, okay, Dokrak's inheriting this Thai sweet bakery shop thing that Grandma has, because they are so similar. They're both puppies, because Grandma's the cutest little thing too. I love her. I'm going to let Theora go now so I stop rambling, because I would just, the two of them together, it's the cutest.
So cute. So cute. So my next point has to do with Grandma Bua, not about how amazing she is, which she is, but going back to mastering this concept of like there are setbacks in life and it's okay to be happy even when things are bad. It's okay to be happy even though things are bad is a lesson that Grandma Bua helps Pam with, because Pam is on that journey. So why did we start where we start with Pam? Because Pam abruptly lost her parents in this accident, and she feels like she can't, she guards herself off. That's why she gets the nickname like Ice Queen or whatever by those bitches at school. They call her that because she guards herself off. And part of Pam is that she feels guilty that if she's happy, it means she's forgetting her parents. Okay, so she's kind of like trapped in that mindset. And so in episode 3, Pam has this conversation with her grandmother where she's feeling upset about her parents and like crying. And, Grandma Bua comes in to remind her that missing them is not a bad thing. Like, it's okay it means you remember them. Like, that's okay that you miss them. But she reminds Pam, like, don't let yourself dwell in that sadness. Don't let it consume you, which is Ma Boss's journey. Like, there was nobody there to console her. So she just lost herself to this, to the grief. And we'll get into her, but like her grief started before her mother passed away. So it was worse than what happened to Pam. But Grandma Bua is the guiding light for Pam on this journey that like and Dokrak for Pam is like giving her, she feels happiness when she's with Dokrak. And it's one of the first times she ever feels this. Like she has some line where she's like, oh, I'm feeling something and it feels really good. And then she feels guilty about it because she's like, oh, but my parents aren't here. And like Grandma's like, hey, like it's okay to be happy even though you're sad about this other thing. Like, that's okay. Don't feel guilty about being happy. And she says this line, she's like, what does being sad, like, what does being a pessimist do for you? Like, how does that help? Grandma also says in this line, in this conversation with Pam in episode 3 that like, she's like, it basically find balance. She's like, being too sad is not a good thing. Being too happy, also not a good thing. You have to find balance because like, that's life. So I like her as the Gandalf to Pam, basically, on this like journey of how to balance good, like sadness and happiness and like not feel guilty about either. It's just, these are emotions you're going to have and having them's okay, but like, you don't have to feel guilty one way or another. Right.
Just as we're talking about Grandma, I just noticed more and more similarities between Dokrak and Grandma. Which leads me to think that maybe the way that GMMTV decided to unfortunately take our beloved Grandma Bua away from us was because Dokrak was there and Pam was going to be okay because she did still have that guiding force in her life to help her through things and make sure she doesn't go back into that mindset of being pessimistic and dwelling on the past. Because at one point, Pam, I think, forgets that her parents are dead and that she used to feel guilty about it. I think it's like closer to the end of the show. She's like, oh yeah, all that happened too. Whereas, again, you see it's a good foil to Mob Boss, and where she does live in it and takes a long time for her to learn to get out of that mindset of dwelling on the past. But she still has that person to guide her. And it's kind of, now that I'm thinking of it, unfortunately, GMMTV, good job, because it is letting another generation take over, kind of, too.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. If you notice all of the characters, all of them. When I say all, I do not mean the dad. I mean all of them, including
He is not included.
He's not included. All of them are dealing with the loss, like a family loss in one way or shape or form. Like Dokrak's family is dealing with the fact that their family is not a family anymore. The dad is not really, they're grieving the loss of the father they thought they had but do not have, basically. Mm-hmm. Like Dokrak physically left, and then Mom and Cowie are trapped in the prison with the dad, but like they know it's over, right? They're just kind of like in denial of it. Then you have Pam, who abruptly lost her parents. Grandma Bua also lost them. And then you have Mob Boss, who lost her mom, and then Oat, who lost her mom. So like you have all of these characters who have a big giant family loss of some sort. And then, but the way that they cope with it and navigated it and how quickly they came to terms with it and moved on is very different. And so they kind of like come together and help each other, like those that are struggling. So my favorite arc of all, when it comes to this theme this is the theme throughout the entire show, is Mob Boss, because she's the one that was like alone to navigate all this shit. She was the one that dissented into the vengeance as a way to like keep her mother alive, I think, in her mind, because if she'd let go of the vengeance, then she's letting go of mom, in the same way that Pam is like, well, if I'm not sad that my parents are gone, then I've forgotten them. And Grandma's like, no, it's okay to be happy even though they're not here. Like, that's okay. That's just life. They'd want you to be happy, that kind of stuff. Mom Boss never had that, so she dissented into the vengeance as a way to, like, honor her mom or whatever. And then the entire family, like, everybody, including Oat, are the ones that, like, get her to really, like, complete her journey of healing. And my favorite part where the light bulb really kind of clicks for her is Grandma Bua's funeral, because when Mob Boss is at the funeral, there's a scene where, like, they're in the cremation part, and Pam and Titang are, like, making jokes. Like, Titang's like, please come to my dreams and give me the lottery numbers, like only the winning ones, like if you're going to show up. And like, they're laughing. And then Mob Boss is like confused. And Dokrak's mom is like, are you okay, to her? And Mob Boss is like, I thought funerals were supposed to be sad, but this one isn't sad. I didn't know that this was even possible. And Mom says, sometimes farewells aren't all sadness. They're part of life. So it's, and that like, and Mob Boss like thinks about that and is like, oh, like, because all she knew is sadness from the loss of her mother, but like, here's this family being like, no, it's okay to be happy even though this happened. And everyone's always like, and Pam's like, I think that's what Grandma would have wanted, was for us to be happy, because she was so happy in life. And so that's how we honor her, not necessarily like dissenting into just dwelling on her sadness and stuff. So I like that, like, Mom, who like, she went through it in this show, like, has the emotional intelligence of her daughter to be like, no, it's okay. Like, you know, there's a place for sadness, there's a place for happiness, and that's okay.
It honestly makes me so happy that this is the theme that they chose. Again, I don't know the book, but no, this is the theme they chose.
This is not.
Is like to be happy. Like, it's okay to be happy no matter what's going on. And yeah, I think it's a message that the audience really needs right now. I mean, everyone needs it at any point, but just with so much unknown in the world, I think this is such a mindset that a lot of people are in. So seeing this play out and seeing how these characters learn to be happy no matter like what happened in the past really like makes you think and reflect on what's going on. Be like, okay, well, what am I thinking? Why am I thinking about this that happened? How can I be happy now and change my future? And yeah, the more you think about the funeral, the more it kind of needed to happen, because it was such a growth moment for everyone. It was the connecting thing. Grandma did what she wanted to do and probably why she wasn't sad when she found out about the cancer. We didn't get confirmation, but I still think she knew about the cancer.
I think so
and
too.
I think they were just not at a place where they could do anything to help her. And she didn't want to because we see her care about Pam more than anything. So she'd do anything for Pam. She would willingly not take care of herself if it meant protecting Pam and giving Pam what she needs, which putting her through like dentist school and making sure that she is set for life. So I still think Grandma knew. She did not give any emotion when Pam told her, quote, yeah.
What I'm surprised didn't happen was I'm surprised we didn't get the classic, like, Pam, I only have like so many weeks to left. I want you to get married. And I'm surprised she didn't push for Pam to marry Dokrak sooner. Like, I'm just surprised. She wasn't like, I want you to be happy and taken care of. Because that happens a lot in like family dramas. I'm just surprised.
I'm surprised by that too, because she kind of joked about that when they first met, about how she was part of the family. So I actually am surprised, because that would have been.
She wasn't like, I want to be at your wedding. You know what I mean?
Maybe GMMTV was like, that is too predictable.
Yeah, and honestly,
that's valid. In this show,
it's valid.
They went for a little bit of unpredictability, which I love. That's one of my favorite things
for sure
in shows. That it still hurts.
It definitely hurts. How dare you give us the greatest grandmother of all time, and then, because again, they're like, there's not enough bodies. GMMTV's always got a death roll like going in their shows, and they're like, you're not going to see this one coming, and when you do, you're going to be sadder than you've ever been. So well done.
But that's also GMMTV's way of trying to get the audience to learn this lesson as well. Again, it's on theme. They want the audience to be like, yeah, you may be sad, but look at the good that still can come from it.
No, I know. But they're also like, don't get too comfortable with our characters.
The more you think about it. Yes, no, I know. GMMTV in general. I mean, look at the parents. There's only actually 2 parents, and they kind of suck in this show.
Hey, I like Mom.
No. Mom does become... Oh my God, Mom is fine. Mom went through a lot. We will get into Mom.
We'll get into Mom.
I don't actually count Mom, but Mom couldn't be there for Dokrak when she needed her. So that's what I meant in that sense. The dad's just awful.
Yeah, he's the worst. You know who's not the worst, though? Dokrak's coworkers, because they are the actual best. And, okay, so they all work in a coffee shop. And I will say that, speaking from experience, service workers trauma bond forever. Like, some of the people I've made the longest friendships with are people I was in the service industry with. Like, that was so real, the way they're like essentially a little family, because you just trauma bond, because that's what service work is like.
Nothing like a good friendship over trauma.
I love them. And they have like basically like their dad figure is Ake, and then like the siblings. It's just, everything about them was fucking adorable. And the Blue Friday nights was such a cute ritual that they did. And again, it's on theme, right, with grief, because I love the way they came up with it. It's like the siblings, essentially, of the workers started it as a way to help Ake move on from tragedy, because he was divorced, and then there was the fatal car accident that killed his friend / Pam's brother. So he was like basically descending into despair, and so they created this as a way for him to, quote, let out stress so you can feel better, which is how Pam described it to Pam. So they made it as like a support group for him, basically, which is a really sweet reason to make this.
Yeah, and then it just descended into whoever has the saddest story wins, which it's just hilarious. But it also is a way to lighten up everybody's tragedy, but like the things that they're struggling with. So they're like, oh yeah, you think that's bad? Listen to this. And then it gets them away. It removes themselves from the situation a little bit. Like, yeah, first of all, they are able to vent. It's group therapy. Yeah. Just like this podcast sometimes.
It is. It's group therapy. That's exactly what it is.
It's exactly what they need, because we never really see therapy in these shows. But this is also another form, talking to your friends, connecting, reaching out when you are struggling. And through Blue Friday nights, it is making them open up, because people don't really think, they don't want to be a burden on others. But this is a place where they're literally supposed to. And they don't need permission to do it. Like it's like, tell us what is going on with you. This is a safe space. And just like, but the humor of there's a winner is the most funniest part. And I still like picture Ek having this little thing in maybe an employee break room of the winner each week.
He would. He really would.
And if you had more than 2 in a row on the wall, you got some like random surprise just to cheer you up one day. That's my...
No, you got a painting from him or whatever, and then they're like, "Oh, yeah. This makes me sadder than my sad story." Like, that's what they would say, because they're little brats.
That was the first thing that he did, and then after like the second or third time, they're like, no, we got to stop this. This isn't it. And that's why he starts doing the bonding retreats. He's like, okay, we've all been way too sad. There's been too many ties. Let's go.
What I love about this session too is that it starts out as a way for the coworkers to help their boss, who is like clearly starting to get depressed, and they kept it going, and then they welcome Pam into it. So not only do they find a way to give each other a safe space, they also and like to vent, because holding it in is like Pam's problem. So then they welcome Pam into this. And yeah, you could argue that like, okay, Pam obviously has a grandmother who loves her, and she could talk to, but Pam, you notice, is like one of those like in her head type characters. She's like suffering in silence for years and just battling. And she's also like at this point in the show, when they first invite her, she's battling with loan sharks too. That again, like the head man of the house was like squandering their money or whatever, and she had no idea. And she's like, crap, now I got to pay off loan sharks. That was her other motivation, you know? And so Pam was really like prime prey for like somebody like mob boss who had this revenge plan and was like, oh, well, I have money, you need money. And she's like, revenge can make you feel better. So that was like appealing to Pam's pain. But like, again, one of the themes in the show goes to show you that like, okay, revenge is like a Band-Aid. Like it makes you feel good for like 5 minutes, and then you're still stuck in the same position where you have nobody. Like it doesn't change your circumstances. It just gives you instant gratification kind of thing. And so that was appealing to Pam, who was essentially drowning in her own sorrow. But then she gets invited to this weekly friend group therapy session, and it helped Pam feel less alone and heal. Because like her first session, she's like, I don't feel comfortable sharing. And then like the more she goes, the more she like starts participating. And I remember the first time she was there, she's like, well, nothing sad happened to me. And then Nachka says, something sad happens every day to everybody, Pam. Like, meaning that like sadness is not this anomaly that only happened to you. Like it happens all the time. Like, then it's okay to be like, something sad happened to me. By saying it out loud, it's like you give it less power over you, because you're just like putting it out there. You know what I mean? And I think that's really the point of these sessions. And to your point, by making light of it, it's, that lesson that Dokrak learned, that it's like, this is just a bad day. This is just one bad moment. I survived. I will move forward. And like, that's what the friends are kind of doing to each other, to be like, see, like, you're still here. You got us. Like, you're all right.
And showing that like, it's not always major things that are going on that are sad. Again, like there's little things like, oh, there's this disappointment. That can be sad too. And it's okay to feel sad over small things that happen, in addition to like the big traumas that are in your life. There's always something going on, and it's okay to feel those emotions and not try to push it down and be like, oh, that doesn't matter, it's so small, insignificant. No, your feelings are valid. And that's something that in this group is really showcased, and it's just beautifully healthy.
Yeah, and I like that they keep doing this, and then when you get to episode 6 and they go on the impromptu retreat, and they do basically like this group therapy session after Nachka gets dumped. And shout out to whoever did the pun translation of welcome to non-Saturday night, like Saturday. Whoever did that translation, like kudos, give them a raise. That was really clever and funny.
The translations in the show did such a great job.
Such a good job. And okay, so I love this scene in particular because for a number of reasons. But number one, like focusing on Pam. So Pam in this campfire scene gives this incredible, emotionally intelligent speech about how to Nachka, who just got dumped. And she gives this speech about how when love fails, it's not love doesn't just fail because of good things, bad things, because of right and wrong. Like sometimes it just happens. People just aren't compatible sometimes, and that's okay. And eventually you will heal. And this is really Pam speaking from experience with her parents. And this is the progress she's made on her healing journey after meeting Dokrak, essentially. And then after Pam, like, basically gives this really good speech to Nachka, Dokrak then chimes in and reminds Nachka that it's moments like these why you have friends. Like, you know, yes, you're feeling alone and like something's wrong with you, but like that doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Sometimes just things don't work out, but like we're here for you while you're going through the sad part because you'll be happy again one day. So like, again, the way they just kind of like keep reinforcing people when they're at their lows, like, hey, it's okay. Like you have us, like it's okay to be sad. Like, and for Pam to be the one to like initiate this big thing, like it goes to show you how much she grew like halfway through the show already, like, which is amazing. And I have to point out, this entire scene is a product placement scene. This whole scene with this the pun, the impassioned speech, this was a gummy selling scene. And this is like one of the best product placement scenes ever because you don't realize you forget it's a product placement scene most of the time, but then they start celebrating and like sharing gummies and then you're like, oh yeah, it's a product placement scene. But like 10 out of 10 for this. This was an amazing product placement scene. Like well done, GMMTV.
But they do it so naturally. In general, we could have a whole section talking about product placement. I mean, yeah, you do get the ending scenes that are literally for product placement.
Right.
But you see it also when Dokrak is lightheaded and Pam is feeding her gummies after, you know, just telling her not to eat candy. Which is hilarious.
I love that.
And yeah, it's product placement, but there's a purpose in this.
There's
show,
a purpose to the scene.
Yeah, a good job.
It's really good.
Back to the friend group. I mean, this is one of the first times that Pam is really seeing a friend group, because especially with people not really. It doesn't seem like she had anybody. She had Grandma, but she doesn't know friendships. And seeing how people are there for you and it's okay to lean on others and not just hold it in is something huge for her. And yeah, like you said, Theora, the scene showing how much she grew and welcomed this friendship. Also, the way that they both parties welcomed each other into their lives, because Pam is a customer, their only customer, but Pam's included on all the employee stuff.
Yeah. Like, they just welcome her in. It's really cute.
Because they are a welcoming bunch. They mess around and, like, some of the jokes seems like they're tearing each other down, but they know if they go too far, they back off. It's nothing malicious with this group.
No.
Except maybe with Ick in his paintings, because that was a little... I do feel a little bad for him, because he tries so hard with them. It's just that you really got to get him to stop selling to people.
Agreed. Let them buy the coffee, dude.
Yeah. Do some latte art.
I'm surprised they didn't do latte art.
That's the basic pitch for the flourish. The flourish is the art on the latte.
I mean, because Dokrak is creative. Like, I'm just surprised she didn't. Maybe Bonnie was like, fuck this, I don't got time for this. But honestly, like, I'm surprised that she didn't, like, the character didn't learn, like, latte art, because I feel like she would, like, as an artist. Because would be into that.
There's even that machine that prints photos on it, so I'm surprised they didn't, like, get that and, like, pretend that Dokrak was doing the art on top to recreate.
But anyway,
photos.
Like, just a thought for next time, GMMTV, that's all.
Season 2.
Season 2. Which we're gonna write later for our super supporter Patreon members. So if you want some more fan fiction, head over there. Okay, so Mob Boss. Want to move on to Mob Boss?
Yeah, you know what? Let's get into Mob Boss.
Oh my god! Okay,
amazing character.
Oh my god! Yes. First, can we start with her intro into the show, because Holy shit. This is where she gets her nickname from. Her introduction into the show is like Pam walking down a dark alley, and then you see a red stiletto snuffing out a cigarette. And then it pans up and you get her. That's when we meet her in the show. Like, it's such a badass intro to a character.
A badass meeting. Not only to her character, but to her as an actress, because we haven't seen her in anything else. And this is the first time we're getting the View Mim pairing too. So
Correct.
This is
a View Mim
a very big introduction to her. And
oh my god,
her character, Mob Boss, again, we should probably say, aka Nene, she is Mob Boss, and this is a scene that proves it. I mean, she literally is Mob Boss. Okay, that's why she got her nickname. But she wasn't really revealed in the trailer. Again, the trailer focused on the love triangle, which makes sense, but the way that they kept this from us, because they could have used like the two storylines in the trailer, but they didn't. And I loved it even more because all these reveals that were happening based on Mob Boss's storyline, it was beautiful. I loved it so much. I just wanted more. No, I mean, I didn't want more. Like, they gave me everything. They loved it, GMMTV. Thank you.
I loved it.
But it just made this person more mysterious because you're like, who is she?
Who is she? Also, one thing that's mysterious to me is that no one ever addresses her drinking problem. Like, she has a drinking problem, and no one addresses this throughout the whole show.
We will address that in season 2, Theo.
We will address that, but like, her mom had a drinking problem, then she develops a drinking problem, and then like she gets with the owner of a bar. So I feel like that wasn't super good for her in the long run. But like, I'll let it go because she was going through some stuff, which is fine.
Yeah,
but no one ever addresses. She definitely has a drinking problem.
No one does.
It's okay.
Because we do see her drinking a lot. We have a whole scene where she goes from the bar and goes home to drink more.
Correct.
And is totally out of it the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's go back in time from young little Mob Boss. So just to lay the ground. So Mob Boss is Dokrak and Kawi's half-sister, who was never accepted by the father, because why would he accept them? He did not give them. He gave them money, and he's like, that is all you get. You don't get my last name. They don't want your last name, dude. But Mob Boss's mom was so upset about this because she thought that he loved her. He's not capable of loving anyone but himself.
No.
But her mom didn't realize that and kept like, he's going to come back to us. She kept trying to take Mob Boss. Oh my gosh, that scene where little Mob Boss is taken to the dad and he's just like, she's not my daughter. That is such a traumatizing thing for a child to have to witness. You know that mom was not momming. Because why would you put your child through that? That, first of all, that is a private conversation to have. So your child is not affected by anything that's going to come out of that dude's mouth. But she was so focused on him loving her and coming back to her, leaving Dokrak's mom for her, that I don't even think she realized that she was a mom.
Listen, none of that mattered. The thing about Mob Boss and the thing that made her empathetic and made her story super tragic is that she was never really loved to begin with. So the reason, so in that conversation, we learned that like Keem, the dad, was basically like, I told you to get rid of that kid, like have an abortion. And the mom didn't. And she's like, well, I thought if I had her, you would come back to me. So basically, Mob Boss exists because the mom was like, oh, this will make him love me if we have a kid. So the only reason Mob Boss exists is because mom was using her as a pawn to get the dad. And when the knowledge of her didn't work, she got so desperate, she bought little Mob Boss to the office to see him and be like, if he sees her, he'll love her and come back to me. She was just using Mob Boss as a pawn the entire time. So it wasn't about Mob Boss the person, it was about mom using her as a pawn. And so her love for her daughter was conditional. And then we get to the scene later in the fallout when like Mob Boss is like in high school or something and she comes home. And she's like, Mom, you gotta stop. Like, 'cause she's just drinking herself into a stupor. And she's like, you gotta stop. You gotta wake up to reality. He's never coming back. He doesn't love you. And the mom flips out on her and is basically like, well, everything was fine with him until you came along. And then she basically like blames Mob Boss for everything that's going on with the dad. So to me, Mob Boss and Cowie share a lot of similarities because in that moment, you just see how heartbroken she is because Mob Boss feels like she's not enough for her mother. And that's the complex she carries. And that's what like really funds this vengeance thing because she's like, wow, I'm not enough to like get you to stop this bullshit with the dad. Like it's awful. And Kawi is a similar character where he's like, I'm not enough to keep the family together. I'm not enough. But he gets depressed about it. She goes into anger and like stays there. So they have opposite reactions, but yeah, her mother used her as a pawn, which is so hard. So like when she's like, I am all alone, when she says that later to like Oat and Pam, she has been alone her entire life. That's like the really sad part. Like I don't think she knows what family means at all. The closest thing she had to it was her mother, but it was conditional.
She doesn't know what love is.
No, she doesn't. She's never had it.
And
she doesn't know what family is. She's never really had it.
Like, due to the way that she grew up, she inadvertently becomes her mother. In the fact that they both have this singular focus. Her mom is focused on the dad loving her, whereas
the drinking problems. They both have drinking problems.
Yep, the drinking problems too.
She turns into her mother. You're exactly right.
Is focused solely on destroying this family. She has nothing else. She's living for it. You see no ambitions or goals. It's just take down this family. But she hasn't even stopped to think, okay, well, what do I do once I do that? What is it going to give her?
That's the thing. Vengeance
is not going to give her the love.
Vengeance won't bring your mom back. That's the thing about it. It's instant gratification. Like, you will feel better in the moment you get your revenge, but at the end of the day, you are in the same position you were in before you got the revenge. You still have no mother. You still have no family. And sometimes it's even worse. And that's what, like, some people in the show are trying to point out to her. They're like, if you, like, Pam, I think at one point is like, well, if you keep going down this road, you're going to, like, isolate yourself from the other people in your life. But, like, because she's so consumed by the vengeance, Mob Boss can't see the other people in her life on the periphery that are there for her like Pam is consistently there for her despite their weird arrangement. Like, Pam's the one that comes to visit her in the hospital later. You know, like, she has people, she just can't see it because she's so, A, not used to not having it, and B, like, consumed by the singular focus she had, like you said, that they have to break her out of it to be like, hey, there's other stuff. Like, if you want these things that you're upset about, you can go get them. Like, look, there's opportunities.
She really doesn't know how to recognize it, too.
No, why would she? She spent her whole life without it. Why would she? It's such a foreign concept to her. And I like the way they wrote this character. I like the way they paced it because it's very realistic for somebody like that who never had this, who can't recognize it. So, like, it takes a lot to be like, girl, open your eyes, because she can't recognize it is kind of the problem.
Yeah. And you see her do a little of, like, a roller coaster trajectory. It's not major. It's not, like, up and, like, extreme ups and downs. It's very subtle way of where she's learning it, but kind of backtracking at times because she remembers, oh, no, this is what I'm focused on. And it's kind of Oat that's, like, bringing it out of her.
And Kawi. Like, Kawi's the other one, too, that really gets to her with the kindness. And then Dokrak is just the end where she's just like, how do you say no to her? Is kind of the problem. Like, how do you say no to her?
I think the moment that Dokrak was not mad at Pam when Mob Boss told her everything going on, that's the moment that she's like, well, first of all, she didn't get what she wanted. She didn't break Dokrak. And then I think we see her kind of start thinking, why isn't she mad? Why does she still love this person? And then it's just making her re-question all this thing about love and relationships and everything that's happening. And then also technically the failure of not destroying her. So it's causing her to have to rethink everything. And it's starting to crack that focus that she has. It's so well done. She's such a complicated character that shows that no matter how long it takes, you can still grow.
I love her.
Especially when she's not an inherently bad person. She's a person that's just doing what she knows as she grew up. Because she knows, like, you have this one focus. That's what you do.
I mean, here's the thing.
She learns from it.
It's very much the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes for the Hunger Games fans out there. I always got to bring it because Suzanne Collins is a fucking genius. Okay, that cannot be stated enough. So basically, if you don't know that book is about Coriolanus Snow. That's where the Grandma name came from. Is from that book. But it's about Coriolanus Snow, who becomes the president of Panem in the Hunger Games, and he's the villain, right? And that's his origin story. And the way she wrote the story, like, she's basically showing you that, like, there's no such thing as inherently evil people. Like, again, having this very black and white view. And so I saw the rhetoric going on when Mob Boss was doing her thing in the show as episodes airing, people like, oh my God, she's awful. She's so evil, blah, blah, blah. She's not evil. There's no such thing as evil people. Even the dad is not evil. Like, people make choices. Like, that's the thing. They made choices. They're in situations and they make choices. And in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, like, that's the point that Suzanne Collins was making. Because, like, this person becomes the villain of the story later, like the antagonist. But she's like, this person is not inherently evil. This person chooses to be evil. Like, they make choices. And they're like, I could do this. I could not. I'm going to do this because I care more about power than I care about, like, empathy. And that's the dad, right? He's a narcissist, and he's like, he has so many opportunities to make choices. And Kawi the whole time is like, Dad, just take responsibility. That would solve everything. And the dad refuses to make that choice. That is a choice he makes. He's not inherently evil. Same thing with Mob Boss. She's not inherently evil. There were circumstances that came here, and, like, she made choices. She's like, either I could, like, be depressed, move on, I could do this. She's like, no, vengeance. She chose that path. And there were many times when Pam's like, do you really want to keep going down this road? And she's like, yes, this is all I have. This is what I'm doing. And Pam's like, okay, but I'm not following you anymore down this road. Like, so Pam made the choice to be like, I'm stepping off the path. And then Mob Boss is like, I'm continuing down the path. We're enemies now. Remember that scene? It's about making choices, not just being inherently good or bad. And so, but by the end, like, Mob Boss does choose empathy. She chooses to recognize that she does have blood relatives, that she can make a new family, which is another huge theme of the show. And so by the end, she's the one who shows up in Mob Boss style when they're having the showdown with the dad. And he's like, well, I'm going to throw you out of this house, everybody, because that's his last card. And then he's like, see how far you get without me. And Mob Boss comes in and she's like, actually, bitch, I live in Sam's house, or one of the houses from another Girl Love show, and I'm going to have everybody live with me. What the fuck are you going to do now? And so she saves the day where she's like, here, you can live with me. You're not stranded. Like, family takes care of each other. Like, she made the choice to, like, do that when they needed help. So, not evil, but like you said, sometimes it just takes some people longer than others. Like, she's been dealing with that trauma her whole life. So of all the characters, it probably would have taken her the longest to, like, get through it. And even when we get to, like, somebody like Kawi, by the end of the show, he's not healed. He's healing. He's on a journey. Like, people heal
because that's life.
It's life. That is life. And people make choices.
Healing, like, also, that's it. There's no end date for healing.
Yeah.
Either.
Healing. It's an ongoing thing. Same thing with Pam. Healing. She's going to have some days where she's sad about her. Like, she says it to Dokrak. She's like, at night, I get sad, even though during the day I have all this happiness. And it's like, that's normal. Like, you can't just be happy all the time. You can't just be sad all the time. You can't just be good all the time, bad all the time. Humans make choices and things happen. Like, but once you're, like, aware of the behavior, if you choose to keep hurting people, that puts you more in the evil camp than somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just a myopic view of things to be like, this character is evil. It's like, the character is choosing to do things, and, like, either they're aware of what they're doing or they're not. And once you become aware of what you're doing and if the harm it's having on other people, you see that, like, Mob Boss starts struggling with her vengeance plan once she starts realizing, oh, I accidentally hurt Kawi. Like, you see it. Like, she's like, oh shit. Versus Dad, who's like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, he makes the choice to not care. Like, he chooses that behavior. So that is the actual difference. Ugh. So good. Again, good job, GMMTV. Like, their motivations make it way more interesting versus just being like,
everything is motivated.
It's all motivated.
There's nothing's done just to do it.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
just for the plot.
It's so good.
Motivated. Everything has a reason of why that character does something. Another reason why, like, part of my criteria for a perfect TV show.
I agree.
Everything is motivated.
It's motivated. character motivated. You know what's great that happens that's character motivated is the fact that Oat, let's talk about Oat. Oat owns a bar.
Wait, hold on.
Damn it. Okay, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. But you have the broken heel metaphor. Did you want to?
No, that's when I get to Oat and Mob Boss.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Speaking of motivation, go back to
You know what's great? The fact that Oat, I love that they wrote her as a character that owns a bar just so she should flirt with every woman that walks in. Like, shamelessly, every woman that walks in. Like, does she make money off her female patrons? I don't know. She's constantly flirting with her. She loves her job.
You think in her budget, she has free drinks for pretty ladies.
Seriously. Also, I love the way GMMTV chose to get around, like, copyright stuff by having the beer bottles have the label of the bar on them. I was like, good job. Because in Pluto, they had a scene with like I and where they were drinking something and they had to blur it. This, they were just like, fuck it. It belongs to the bar. And I was like, that's clever. Good job.
And it's probably a lot cheaper too to just like buy a bunch of random labels and like just stick them on quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my god, because you have to track it. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that's a great idea. Because they had at one point they're like, Dokrak has drunk a 24-pack or whatever. So it's like, this is way easier to do.
And for people listening, the rule of thumb is 1 minute in pre-production. Well, 1 minute in post-production. If they have to fix something in post, costs 3 times as much as if they did it in pre-production.
Damn. So bottle.
That's why never say we'll fix it in post because it's going to be 3 times as expensive.
Yeah. Those poor editors. They have enough to do, like blurring out beer bottles or whatever. So I thought that was really clever. I'm
trying to edit out birds.
And anything else about Oat? Just Oat by herself. Before we get into Oat and Mob Boss, I fucking love her. Oh, by the way, she wasn't in it enough.
No, I know that. Yeah, that was my one gripe with her because they didn't give her enough. And I mean, they have a lot of characters. It's just this character is something else where I feel like we really could have gotten a little more into her backstory and her relationship because she's very connected with Kawi and the Dokrak. So she really could have had even a couple more scenes because there's some episodes where we literally only had her for a few seconds.
I know.
And I know it's just us because we love you.
I love you.
I love seeing my only other experience with you is Aylin in 23.5, and this character is so different and it's showing the range that this actress has, and it was so amazing to see that. I just wanted more, and I really think that this character could have gotten more because there was so much there that was hinted at as well. Oat has confidence, and I want to see where that comes from. With the fact that she knows, she's also able to see what people need. So she was flirting with Dokrak when she knows that Pam and Dokrak needed to like figure out some shit, and or it was Pam, it was one of them. But
she was reading those bitches. She's like, "This is gay. Let me poke at it." Basically, which made it really sad later when Kawi comes in. He's like, "My girlfriend broke up with me," and it's like, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen because I saw those two together.
We were literally yelling in a reaction video, like, "Can you just tell him that his girlfriend is gay for your sister, for his sister?"
The way that Kawi turned so many women gay. Thank you, sir. I'm just kidding. I know he.
Yes, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
We're still rooting for you to end up with your psychologist.
Yes,
friend.
I agree. I want him to.
But Oat's really good at reading people, and I really feel like there's something, study psychology, something there.
I mean, that's part of being a bartender. You become a therapist because people come in there because they're sad. Like, every time, does Kawi ever come to the bar because he's happy? No, he comes in there for like a mini therapy session. Same thing with Mamba. She hanging out in the bar. Well, first of all, she's stalking everybody. And then second of all, she just starts showing up because she's like, I'm sad. I need some therapy. So, like, Oat's kind of like a service worker therapist, essentially. That's what bartenders become.
The saddest thing right now is that we can't talk about Oat that much as a person. It is connected with Mob Boss. So I want to be able to talk more about Oat just as Oat. We didn't get enough. And, like, it's not, like, a terrible thing. It's just something that we wish for. Because Oat is great.
Oh, it was great. And I did enjoy, I thought even for a tertiary character, we did get a lot with her in terms of a backstory, her connection to Kawi, and the fact that, again, she's like, when he's sad, he's like, why does nobody love me? And she's like, I love you, but in a platonic way. Like, love can mean a lot of things, which is another theme in the show. There's so many fucking themes in the show.
You know what? It was great that she's the one who goes to Dokrak is like, is your brother okay?
Yeah,
someone is seeing him. Dokrak has so much going on, so like I don't blame her for not noticing that her brother is just not okay.
We will get into him, but yes,
Oat is there for everyone, and I just want to see explore more of like people noticing her, because we don't really see what's going on in her life other than her trying to get with Mob Boss, which yes, girl,
that's so funny.
I can't believe it took that long, by the way.
Oh my god, it
wasn't it like the 4 years later that you finally got a date? Girl, you played the long game with that one.
She did. She was invested.
But the way Oat did see the Kawi and was like really like, oh, pay attention to this Dokrak, and led to that intervention with Dokrak and him, and it was just great. Good job.
She was basically a very supportive tertiary character, is essentially what she was. I wish she was secondary, is what we're saying.
Yes.
So, but she came into the fray a lot more because of Mob Boss, and Mob Boss was more of a secondary character in the hierarchy of the show, which I'm not mad at. I liked seeing Mim flex her acting skills. Like, damn, that girl also has the range. It's going to be really interesting to see them have more scenes together in Girls, I hope, GMMTV, because the two of them...
Could you imagine?
Flexing their acting skills. I want to see that, because they both have the range.
Can you imagine if they still didn't have that many scenes? I would be very upset.
How dare you cast them?
All right, we love you, but like...
Give them scenes.
But we can't say anything, because we don't have that yet.
We don't have anything about that yet. It's not even based on anything. So the ball's in your court for that. But for now, let's talk about Oat and Mob Boss. One thing I love about them, particularly, I guess the first like two-thirds of the show, the vast majority of their conversations are coded. Like coded conversations. So on the surface, it like will read as them just like talking to each other and having some conversation. But like when you decode what they're actually talking about, a lot of their conversations are layered and really subtext-wise, talking about Mob Boss's situation with her estranged father she's seeking revenge on, and the trauma from her mother's demise. And the first one that really became apparent to me was the broken heel metaphor. So in episode 6, again, Mob Boss just starts showing up at the bar and getting drunk versus like tailing Dokrak and Kawi. So in episode 6, she gets drunk at Oat's bar, and when she goes to leave, she breaks her heel, right? So she's drunk, right? So, and then she's like, ah, shit, one of my shoes are broken. She's like, well, fuck this shit. And she like takes it off and just like goes to leave without any shoes on. And Oat's like, girl, what are you doing? And she stops her and goes, first of all, are you just going to leave these shoes in my bar with? This isn't a trash can. What are you doing? But then she's like more concerned about like, are you really going to walk home barefoot? Like, what are you doing? And Mob Boss's reply is, why would I keep something that's broken? And so, again, it looks like they're talking about the shoe, but really, like, if you uncode what they're talking about, this Mob Boss talking about the shoe becomes a metaphor for, like, how Mob Boss feels about herself. This is about her. Okay, so how does she feel? She feels broken by all of the family shit, discarded by her entire family, and unlovable. That is the root of like what she's dealing with and why she turns to vengeance. But then here comes Oat, who has this completely opposite point of view of her, and she basically, through the shoe metaphor, is like, we can mend this, meaning like you're not so broken that you can't like heal and move on. And she tells her basically through this that like you're also lovable, like you're not worth, like why would anybody throw you away? Like you just need time to heal. That's all. And I love that it starts here and then we come back to it in episode 8 when Oat returns the shoes. And Mob Boss flips out when she sees the shoe. And I think there's a couple of reasons for this. I think those are the shoes her mom wore. I don't know why she's wearing them. But if you the under the surface reason, if we go along with this metaphor of like the shoe being Mob Boss's view of herself, this is like a cognitive dissonance moment for Mob Boss, because Oat shows and tells her that like just because something's broken doesn't mean it's destroyed beyond repair. look, it can be fixed. I'm showing you that. And Mob Boss, again, that's how she feels about herself in the present, that she's basically irreparably damaged. But also, like, Mob Boss is also carrying around this guilt that she wasn't enough to, quote, fix her mother. So to me, like, that was a cool way to do it. And also, like, I was like, oh, this sounds exactly like Cowie, because that's the thing he's struggling with. But the cognitive dissonance moment comes from Oat, who's like presenting her with essentially an alternative solution to everything, which is like, repair the broken pieces, you can fix the shoe, right? So you can move forward. So the subtext is like, hey, maybe you should make a new family with the relatives you do have, like Dokrak, Cowie, and their mom. Like, maybe make something new and like keep on walking, aka move forward. So I like that it's a shoe too, because like you have the movement element to that metaphor, like keep going. So
that's a good touch. Also, we do get that flashback scene where, yeah, I believe these are the same shoes. The mom breaks a heel, and the whole time, this is during the high school thing when when Mob Boss comes home and is seeing that her mom's drinking and is still crying and upset. And she's like, just trying to get her to stop thinking about that man, because she's like, why do you care when he does not love us? He's not going to love us. We aren't enough for him. I'm not enough for you, but we're not enough for him. And the mom is just so worried about these shoes. She's like, if I can fix it, I can fix it. Because that's what she's focused on. And Mob Boss is like, just throw them out. They're broken. So you see that mindset even from the past. Like, okay, well, they're not good enough. Just throw it out. And so, sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. So Mob Boss has never thought that anything was worth fixing. So if you go with that metaphor of like, that's her, she doesn't think that she's worth it. And she also sees, like, if you try to fix something, like with her mom wanted to keep these shoes that were broken. And so that you're holding on to something that's not worth it. So she doesn't think she's worth holding on to for other people. And her also seeing these shoes broken and then fixed, it's too much for her. There's too much history with these shoes, first of all. There's a crazy amount of histories with these freaking heels. Yeah. I've never seen that much with the shoes before.
I mean, the other part about when she was a kid, though, and I think the reason why she was like, throw this the fuck away, was that the dad gave mom those shoes. And so mom was holding onto those shoes because she's like, this is the only thing he ever bought me. So if I throw this away, that means it's over. And like, from little Mob Boss's point of view, she's like, this is irreplaceable. Like, this can never be repaired. Like, never. Like, this is over. You need to let it go because it's holding you back. So I think, again, that mindset clicked with her forever, that like, if something's broken, it can hold you back forever. So like, you need to just get rid of it. There's no point in trying to repair it, because if you try, you end up like my mom, who tried her whole life and it ended up killing her. So I think that's another weird lesson she accidentally learned. Whereas, like, again, the cognitive dissonance, where she's like, this is my experience. And then Oat's like, but look, there's another way. Like, that one experience is not universal to everything you're going to go through life. Like, sometimes you can repair things if the thing is willing to be repaired, you know?
Yeah. And by Oat being the one to fix these shoes, she's giving the shoes a new life and a new story.
Yeah.
And that's what she's doing for Mob Boss.
And that
is beautiful.
Is class A flirting. That's some expert flirting, to be like, look, I could put you back together with my love.
Like, talk about being the fixer in a relationship.
Literally. Oh, damn.
I can fix him out, really, I can. Okay.
Do you have a point or should I get into my quick PSA?
Go ahead. You do that PSA.
Okay, I have a quick PSA, public service announcement, for anybody who watches Thai girl love shows. Okay. If you are watching a show and you happen to see this house, okay, the White House that has the piano in it, that has the giant horse lamp, if you see this house, just know.
The horse on the outside?
There's horses on the outside. There's a horse lamp on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
If you see this house, it is a bad omen. Okay? So in Us, the series, Dokrak's childhood home is the same home from Affair of the Series, where young Plang and Juan Viva grew up. And it's the same house that Jen's family grew up in Mate the series. And without spoiling things, may I just say, bad things happen to all of those families that lived in this house. So once you see this house, no bad things are going to happen to the family. It keeps happening.
It's never good.
No, this is
the
like
house
the
is too
set.
big. The families never fit in it. And that's the point.
This is the fall from Grace House. Once you see this house, no bad things are going to happen to the family that lives there. That's just the way that it is.
And if the parents are good, they're gone.
Just know, bad things without spoiling things, bad things are going to happen.
Bad things happen. All right. Before we get into some listener comments, we interrupt this video to bring you some shout outs for our Chaos Crew over on Patreon. Woo! So our Chaos Crew members on the Big Gay Ride or Die tier and above as of filming are Dana W, Caroline R, Amix Monzone _multi, Natalia, Danny, Cassie M, Here for It, Jill L, Regina B, and Monet F. And our featured Big Gay supporter members for this episode are Criselda R, Victoria B, and Angie. Thank you so much for all of your support. And thank you to everybody wherever you're able to support us. Not everyone can be a Patreon member, and we understand. Just commenting, sharing these videos, subscribing, connecting with us on social media, joining the Discord, and joining the conversations over there. All of that means so much to us and helps us create a community and spread the joy of queer content. And that's our main goal for this podcast. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Listeners.
All right. So at this point, our notes are too long. So we're going to have to split this into 2 episodes. Surprise, surprise. We talked for a long fucking time. You guys should know we were going to do that by now. Okay. So just to say, we're going to kind of cut this off here. We will get into like more Dokrak Pam stuff in the next episode. Sorry for keeping you hanging, but we will give you we'll end this with our listener comments from Patreon. There's quite a few, so we'll popcorn those. Okay, so let's first start with the OG Nancy D. So we asked our Patreon members, why do you love us? And this is what they said. So this is what Nancy said. It's all about the bond between Pam and Dokrak. The puppy dog eyes. Yes. The way Pam falls in love out of her loneliness. Sniff kisses. Parentheses, my new favorite concept. Emi and Bonnie were perfect in this, and I hope they give them another project together. Also, a shout out to View. She's a chameleon. Oat was a wonderful new skin for her. Yes to all of that. Like, seriously.
Yes to all of that.
Yes to all of that. Emi and Bonnie killed it in so many ways, and I hope they get something else because they earned it and they're amazing. And also, more View. Where's View's show? That's what I'm saying. Like, where is it? Where is it?
This is just proving that View needs her own show.
Yeah.
Like, stop sleeping on this GMMTV. If you need help figuring out something, we got you.
Oh, we so got you. Tall, sexy bitch as the lead? What could go wrong, GMMTV? She could do anything. Okay, first of all,
you can have her do multiple characters.
I forgot. Literally, she could be Tatiana Maslany. You already got Namtam as Tatiana Maslany. You could have a second Tatiana Maslany. Even Tatiana Maslany cannot be another Tatiana. Like, come on, you could do
both in the same show.
That's what I'm saying.
Could you imagine Tatiana Maslany that shit up all over? I mean, the post production would be like,
it would be amazing. I do listen. I want whatever that is. But wait, a quick Oat and Mob Boss moment I totally fucking forgot about. Their last scene together, first of all. I love when Oat's like, oh, you don't have your heels on? Perfect. Now you're the perfect height. Like, Mob Boss gets offended. She's like, you're calling me short? And she's like, no, like, I'm into our height difference. Like, that was like a nod to the audience to be like, you guys like height differences, right? Look at this couple. Yes, give us their show. I would like to see them in a series together.
And yes, we know that they're going to be in girl roles, but that's
I want
an
them
ensemble.
to lead the series.
Yeah, they need to.
I also want them in girl roles.
Focus on them. But yes,
I want them everywhere.
We want all of it.
That's my point. Anyway.
Also, are sniff kisses a thing? Or is that just made for this
That's
show?
What they... Because no, that's a thing. It's a Thai
okay.
way of showing affection. That is a thing.
Okay.
But we got the term for it, like, as English speakers in this show. They specifically called it that.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Raina W says, I love Us because with every other episode, it subverted my expectations. Emi and Bonnie are simply magic on screen. All of the cast were great also. Every technical aspect of the series helped with telling the story. There was always a sense of melancholy, but love triumphed in the end. That was beautifully said.
Fuck yeah. All of that. I think what subverted expectations the most was, again, the teaser trailer was the novel. I think they did that, and then they got feedback and they're like, let's change everything. And then you get the show and you're like, this is not the novel. So yeah, there's that. And I agree that the cast, period, like we're going to talk a lot about, like, obviously the queer ones, but like, the mom was so good. Like, Kawi's actor, so good. Like, everybody was on point in this series. All of the actors, all of them. Mm-hmm. The lighting, the directing, the music composition, like, everybody. Even the translations were just so elevated.
Oh my gosh, everybody.
English puns in there, like, what the hell? Like, everything about this show was that's why, like, that's the other criteria for me for a perfect show, like Heartstopper, where, like, everybody was on point. Everybody that put the show together. And it shows. Like, you can tell, like, a lot went into this show. It just shows. The sets, there's little details where, like, there's one point in the show where, like, Dokrak's blanket makes it over to Pam's house. Like, there's little things like that they did. And so there was just so much detail. Whoever found that fish tank, like, whoever did the shopping for the set, like, I love that. Like, everything was just so clever and well done. And it's cohesive. Like, the whole thing feels so cohesive that, like, you just feel immersed in that world and nothing was out of place or weird. It just all worked so well because I feel like the team that put this together was cohesive and was on the same page when they put this together, and it just shows.
It really does. You can tell when there's a lot of heart behind the scenes.
Yes, you could tell. Ugh, love it. All right, second Patreon member, Neha R. Or Nia?
Or Neha.
Neha? Let us know which version. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, let us know so we don't say it wrong.
Yeah, we're sorry. I love your comments always.
Stickler on Kasi walked me through their pronunciation. Basically, the verdict was I was saying it right.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's move into this comment. It's a super cute and healthy relationship. Yeah. Dokrak, who's only 20, is super mature and adorable. This love story has no breakups. They confront bad situations together rather than fighting each other. It's a true fairy tale. Yeah.
It's a fairy tale.
They adopted Nene. They did. Okay. Wait, the last comment's my favorite. Also, Pam's shoulders and back. I need to know her workout routine. Yeah, girl, what do they do in a dentist school? I need to know. Oh my God. Yeah, all of that. Let's talk about the fact that GMMTV's like third act breakup. I don't know her when they wrote this story. I think that's the other subvert expectation. Like, you're expecting a third act breakup because a lot of dramas in general have them, but the Thai girl love shows that have been produced so far pretty consistently have some kind of separation. Like, even Reverse for You, like, they didn't break up, they broke up because of circumstance. Like, there's something that will break them apart. Like, yeah, they did a spin on that where they're like, yeah, Dokrak and Pam are going to physically be apart for a bit to take care of their families, but, like, they were very explicit in being like, long distance will be fine with our relationship. It's going to be okay. Like, this is not, just because we're not physically together, like, our bond is so strong at this point that that's not an issue. This is temporary. This too shall pass. You know what I mean? This period of separation, it shall pass. So I like
the third act breakup was with Grandma.
Yeah, our breakup was with Grandma. Exactly.
It was very sad.
Oh my God, that was the worst.
They're like, if you want your ship to stay together, we have to give you other pain.
I mean, yeah, like there has to be, like, again, what is it? It's the Somewhere Somehow pilot, a show that must have drama scenes. The best. If you haven't seen that pilot, go watch watch that pilot. It's so funny. I cannot wait for that show. But anyway, like it must have drama scenes, right? It is a drama, and like that is real life. Like like your grandma passing away from cancer, like that shit happens, right? And like you said, it was a way to cohesively, unfortunately, by sacrificing grandma, like get everybody to like complete the arc of letting the past go. Pam moved on, mob boss moved on, Dokrak and her family, meaning her mom and brother, are like more cohesive. So it did serve a purpose. They weren't just off and grandma for fun. Like it was part of the healing process for everybody. And like the ultimate like test really of like, can you put all these lessons we've sprinkled out into practice? Because she's the best person ever. Like she's never done anything wrong in her life. So to take her away is really fucking sad. So to have the characters be like able to deal with the death of Saint Bua, like that is a lot of growth for them to like actually like move through that. You know what I mean? Like that's like the most high stakes person to like pass away in a show for these characters. You know what I mean? Like if like, I don't know, Dokrak's mom passed away, it wouldn't be as impactful as like grandma, but you know what I mean? She was the glue for so many people in the show. So to have her be the one that they like, that passes away, that's the biggest test of all, honestly. And so from a writing perspective, that was the better drama in my opinion, because it was the biggest test for all the characters to be like, can you healthily deal with her passing away? She's the big force of positivity, you know, like it would be very easy for Pam to be like, wow, depression. Same with Dokrak, because like you said, they're so similar. And she got to the point where she's like, we're not related, but she feels like my grandmother. She feels like family to me. And so like to lose her is a huge blow. And so, yeah, it just, again, like it was the epitome of all the growth for all the characters in a healthy way. Like everything about the show was very healthy. The dad was not. He was, because we need drama. But like everybody else that was the core characters you're rooting for was healthy in a lot of ways.
He was also a good contrast between the healthiness and like, okay, you could see it.
Yeah, shitty people, abusers. He was a gaslighter. Those people exist. Look at America. They exist. So, yeah. I agree.
Next comments from Zori M.
Woo!
Zori says, I love that they didn't give the father a redemption arc. They just let him be the human equivalent to garbage throughout the entire show. Okay, so this did not actually change the discussion like I was trying to. But this is a very important comment. I agree with it.
No, I agree.
And we will get more into this in the next part, too.
No, I agree with that sentiment, especially coming after, like, Reverse with Me, which basically, like, changed the novel to give a redemption arc. Same thing with Gap. Gap changed the novel to give the Grandmama a redemption arc. Not everybody needs one. And, like, looking at you, Laura Neal, bitch. Like, not everybody needs a goddamn redemption arc. Some people just are the way they are, and that's fine. That's okay. We don't need them. Oh my God.
And again, like I said earlier, some people don't change.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to accept too. They had to accept that the dad was never going to change. And once they did that, they were able to move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, honestly, that was like Mob Boss's lesson. She learned the hard way too. Her mother was never going to change. That she specifically, Mom chose to be in denial about the dad. Like she chose that. You know, and again, it's choices. They're not evil people inherently. They just choose over and over again. And so, yeah, the tragedy of Dokrak's family is like they had to let him go because they're like, he is not going to change. He's choosing not to. So we need to leave this situation, right? So yeah, I like that because that is real life. Like, you know, sometimes people choose to be the way that they are. They just want to be in denial. You know, whatever. Okay, Leo. Well, last but certainly not least, Leo. I love Us, the series, because of Dokrak and Pam's relationship is pure love between two women. Yeah. Like, and it was fucking cute. Everything about them was so cute. It was just cute and tender and really sweet. And I like the way they, in the show, kept with that. Like, they set them up. First of all, they're young 20s, mid-20s, maybe Pam, young 20s for Dokrak. And they kind of kept it in that realm. So what I've noticed with GMMTV, they do a really good job with doing the age-appropriate depiction of intimacy when they do the shows. So like, for example, so the three girl loves that we've seen at this stage from them are 23.5 Pluto and Us in that order. And 23.5 is high school. So like the intimacy between the characters is very like, we kiss, we handhold. That's it. It ends there. Then you got Pluto, where they're messy 30-year-olds, right? And so we get more like, here's a sex scene, right? But it's with a purpose. They're like a sex scene that furthers their intimacy and whatever. But then you get this show, which is like the middle ground, right? They're in their young 20s. And so notice there's nothing explicit that ever happens that they show you. It's a more of a like fade to black kind of thing where they have them like make out and then like fall down and it cuts away. Like they do a cutaway, right? Kind of thing, which feels age appropriate for like young 20s. And so I like that they kept that tone with them. They're going to be the tender romantic relationship, and we're going to keep the tone that way. It's not affair. Like it's nothing like that, because that's not the tone that they were trying to establish with these two. So it feels very like more of like a wholesome, like, and the way they lit the scenes with them too is always like very warm light, and it's just got this warmth and like tenderness to it, and they stuck with that the whole time, even as like their relationship escalated. And I really love that about it. It really fit who they were trying to establish as like Dokrak and Pam and how their relationship was. So I thought that was a really smart decision when they were figuring out how to like build their relationship and craft the scenes. Like I thought the cutaway made sense for these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just, the way that they shot things.
Oh my God. Makes you feel things.
It's beautifully decorated. Yeah, we can't say enough about the lighting and everything.
It's so beautiful. So beautiful.
Especially with lighting, it's pretty tricky because they filmed outside too, and that's changing lights constantly, and it never felt disconnected. And even lighting inside, it was very beautifully done, and we never saw the light source.
We never saw, well, okay, except when it was the sun and they were outside. But that's what the sun does. It's literally, you see it. But yeah, no, it was just like anytime you're in Dokrak's room, it's warm. Like the light is so golden. And so it feels very warm because Pam and Dokrak are so warm. Then when you go to the affair house, it's all like, it's like cavernous looking the way they lit it, because it's such a huge house. And so there's like literal, like there's one scene where like dad's doing something and Kawi literally comes out of the shadows in this house, because the house is A, probably haunted, and then B, it's an unwarm place. Like remember there's the scene where they're at Grandma Bua's later, Mom and Kawi, and Mom's like, wow, this little house feels so warm. Because if you go back to the way they lit the affair house, it's so cold in there. Just with the lighting, you feel it. There's nothing warm about that house. And so like to have the characters kind of acknowledge that through like, it just goes to show you like how deliberate everybody was when they put this together. And that what makes me really love a show, the way like it's so cohesive from every team member that put this together. And that makes this show really, really special to me. And it
fits. Matches like what you're seeing on the screen too, because in that scene where Mom's saying that, it's because there's laughter and fun in the kitchen.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Theora and Caitlin from the future interrupting the remainder of this episode, which isn't much. We're here from the future because we have one more Patreon comment that we absolutely have to talk about, and we got it after we finished recording this, so we came back just to talk about this. So Pooja, if you're out there, know you are loved, and we loved your comment, so we had to come talk about it.
We had to.
We did. We couldn't leave this gem on our Patreon where no one but Patreon could see it. So hello world, here's what Pooja had to say.
Also, because Pooja left a comment, we realized that we left out another section. So let's get into Pooja's comment.
Yes. So thank you, Pooja. Here's why Pooja loves us, the series. A super sweet grandma, parentheses, shame they dead her later. They sure did off her and added her to the body count of GMMTV. Mob Boss and Oat being metaphorical and humorous gays. Parentheses, GMMTV underutilizes view so much, it's honestly painful to witness. Yeah. And now almost all the gay fishes. Oh my God, we forgot to talk about the fishes too. The way Dokrak and Pam scarred those fish for life. Oh my God.
It's indoctrination, Theora.
They did so many gay things in front of those fish. Yeah, it was indoctrination. Okay, sorry, Pooja. Okay, Pooja continues. Dokrak and Pam scenes are very beautiful, and that one scene where Dokrak plays guitar and Pam sings, such a great scene. Oh, and the OST, of course, naturally. I did think the ending felt a bit abrupt, so many questions left unanswered, but I still love the show for what it is. Don't worry, we answer them on Patreon where we fanfic about season 2, coming to a Patreon near you. And lastly, the Taylor Swift section, which is what we forgot. So Pooja says, Us starts off Evermore and then becomes chaotic. Should have been Reputation. Oh my god.
Wait, hold on. Can you read that last part again? Because I remember it. But...
Us starts off Evermore, then becomes chaotic. Ha ha ha. Should have been Reputation.
And that, it's funny you say Reputation, Pooja. Because actually, I don't think this is Reputation.
I think Mob Boss is Reputation, to be honest with
yes.
you. That's what I was going to say.
No, that's why. Because vigilante shit. Is that Midnight's or Reputation? Midnight's, never mind them. I don't think I have any Reputation. But yeah. Reputation would be good. That is Mob Boss's point of view.
Those red stilettos, like she could be in the music video. Like,
oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I have my own Taylor Swift songs to add to this. And I had to do 2 separate notes on my phone, apparently, because I forgot that I started the section. So let's go. Our first song, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Also Mob Boss.
That is my boss, yes.
And Dokrak when she's angry with her family. Who's afraid of little old me and she get in everybody's face. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yes, my boss is like, because he's so afraid of her, and it's just like she's this little thing who looks so innocent. If you didn't know, if we didn't get that introduction with her with the stilettos and the mob boss introduction to her, she would have looked too innocent, I feel like. But because of her introduction, it was perfect.
It is perfect.
It was great. Okay. So this next one, the song is called Should Have Said No.
Should have gone. Should have thought.
Oh, you let it all go.
That's the dad.
No. Well, yes.
It is.
Yes. But it was just, my thought was advice to Dokrak when Kawi asked to use her drawings. Just, you should have said no.
Not a word. What you did with her would get back to me. Yeah, the drawings. And then the dad. Yeah.
And then Soon You'll Get Better is Pam to Grandma.
Why would you do that? That hurts.
Because it came on the day after the finale that we watched. All right.
No, it's that one song from Lover. Oh, I forget the name of the song that's like about...
Do you know any words? Because I got this.
Yeah, Orange Bottle. So what about whoever is, I think, dying of cancer, and she's singing about like holy orange bottle, like the pills will make you better.
Oh no, that's Soon You'll Get Better.
Oh, is it? Shit. Okay. I was thinking of a different song that popped in my head. Yeah, Soon You Get Better. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
The other one that's about like death is Ronin.
Also, Marjorie is...
Oh yeah, Marjorie, yeah.
That was her grandmother that she wrote the song about.
Oh shit. No, Marjorie would have worked. Yeah, that one's...
Hence Evermore.
No, now I'm sad even more. I wasn't prepared for that one. Marjorie is such a good song.
Such a good song.
I have so many edits in my head. By the way, vigilante shit, the whole thing really, I mean, first of all, yes, it is Mob Boss, but you can do there's a big edit there. There has to be one already. There has to be. I wish I had time.
I don't know that anybody loves Mob Boss as much as we do.
Oh,
Make edits of her.
I was doing this and I was like,
what the hell?
Oh, I was just, Mob Boss was fully in my head. That's all I was thinking about while listening to Taylor Swift.
I love her the most. Not
okay,
everyone else
the last one. The last one's for Mom. And it's Epiphany.
Yeah.
Because she goes through a journey.
You don't have any Dokrak and Pam songs?
No.
Damn.
Well, I mean, I know in the
fluffiest...
reaction videos we did the Paper Ring song.
Yeah, Paper Rings. That's definitely that. I was like, what's the fluffiest Taylor Swift song? Probably Paper Rings. So that's them by default. And also they literally did that where Pam's like, this kiss is our ring. It's basically the same concept of like
Lover. It's like all the good songs that are like about good relationships on
Yeah,
Lover.
I guess Lover fits too. But like they're more upbeat and happy, so like Paper Ring's probably the best song for them. And they're not childhood friends to anything, so nothing like earlier in the discography would work. I think good. I think we got it. Evermore for sure. Yeah. Ooh, that becomes chaotic. Then we dip into Midnights.
I don't think I know the lyrics to Evermore. Which is weird. I think I gotta listen to that one some more.
Yep. Yeah, all right. So you're going to do that when we sign off. Any other thoughts about Pooja's comments before Diora and Kayla from the future get out of here? So this episode
just that up. I love Pooja.
Thank you, Pooja. All right. And back to the show. There's love.
Oh,
like the warmth.
There's so much
love.
to say about the mom.
I
want to talk about the scene where she cooks for them too.
Oh my god. Yes, we will get into Mom. I love her. Oh my god. Where's that? I want that actor in a MILF love show. MILF. M-I-L-F. I want her to get a wife.
Not yet.
MILF love.
Where
are the older bitches?
MILF.
Where's the messy 40-year-olds? Where's the divorcees falling in love? I want that
again.
Show.
And then what? Then get like the grandmas. The grandmothers.
Where's grandma?
You know what? I know we've had a lot of like realizing, I'm queer storylines, but we haven't had it with like grandma age.
Not yet.
So I really think we should have that.
Absolutely.
Because that's representation that needs too. Because there's no timeline on figuring out who you are.
I'm here for that. Okay, so we'll get into that and more maybe in our next episode of Us the Series Part 2. We didn't make this a scene-by-scene breakdown, but it probably feels like one. You're welcome. So, come back next time as we continue this journey and wrap up this amazing show. And until next time, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.